So let's put this in perspective, because you were invited here by somebody that said, let's make wealth real together. Yes. I mean, from wherever you come from, I don't even know why you're here or what you came to see. But what I want you to know is we can make wealth real together if we come together and keep it simple. Because we've gotten tricked so many times, so many different ways, that people see a trick question when there is no trick involved. I mean, if you're honest with yourself, $1 million every 3 years, that's $333,000 a year. It's not a bad income. It's just not going to be 1.2 million a year.
Right. No, 100,000 a month. You're gonna have more than $1 million a year.
100,000 a month is 1.2 million a year. That's what my head. That's what my head said immediately.
Right. Immediately.
$1 million every 3 years sounds like $333,000. That's less than sorry.
Right. Okay.
It's a low number.
Okay.
And then no bills just means, well, what else can I do other than not have bills? And I put this out to us to say, when we step back from the conversations we've been having for all these years and say, what would it take to make wealth real for us? It is a combination of those things. Like, if you think about the money that you've made in your life, how many of you made more than $1 million in your life? I mean, made more than $1 million the last 2 years.
We just,
it's a thing. Like, you make money, but because of the way our economy is set up, money leaks out of our lives every day, and we're forced to go back and remake the money to have things happen for us. Am I making sense?
yeah.
But what if there was a way that you could have an unlimited stream of income flowing into your life with a ground floor that just made sure that everything was taken care of in terms of paying your bills, and no limit on how much could come in over the top? Would that be better?
Yeah.
Would that be easier to make wealth real? So today I'm going to try something different. I've not used this presentation deck, and this presentation deck is not my presentation. It's the conversation. But what if we said that making wealth real isn't difficult, it's simple? Simple meaning, think about these concepts. If you only spent money with people that spent money with you, you only spent money with people that contributed to the community with you, and you had a team to make sure that people weren't taking all of the money out of your life through taxes and bills, could you get wealthy faster?
Yes.
That's our conversation. So for whatever reason you came here today, if you came to find out how you could make some money, how you could save some money, how you could have help in the process, all those things are my plan for coverage today. And the blessing in this conversation is I didn't even have to make it up. Now, if somebody says those kinds of things to me, I do want, as a matter of disclosure, to let people know who you're speaking with. And by way of background, my name's Richard Harden, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, got the traditional formal education and then went on to get advanced education, meaning I graduated from Douglas High School with a PhD, public high school diploma. But with the grades it took me to Duke University, now double majored, electrical engineering, computer science, got out into the world of technology and got the best education in the world from UHK. What's UHK? It's the University of Hard Knocks. I learned most of the things I learned about money by making mistakes early on in my career. My first mistake was just counting on that job was there to make me rich. So I was climbing the corporate ladder, and every rung I got along the way, I got that dreaded feeling that it was leaning against the wrong building. Has anybody ever felt that? You made them millions and got to keep your job? And then finally, as I stepped out into the world of entrepreneurship, started learning the fundamentals of money and business. And it not only changed my perspective, it changed my life. I was blessed to be introduced to this conversation by my younger brother. But one of the best blessings that we can have in the world is to build business and build wealth as a family system, not as an individual. Am I making sense? So today I'm going to talk about 4 concepts and 1 underlying concept, and then I'm going to go, because it doesn't take a long time to understand that wealth is hidden from the people that feel they have to do it all themselves. Hard work is the worst hustle in the world, but if we can put ourselves in partnerships with people that help to make wealth simple, we can make wealth real for everybody. So when I share my screen, let me know that you see my screen on your side and it looks the way that I see it. Let's see. No, that's not what I want you to see. Does that look okay? So I want you to understand at all times, wealth is in movement through our economy. And there's a fundamental shift happening right now in our country. Here's the problem. Most people don't know and were never taught what to do with their money. Meaning, if you think about it, have you ever played the game Monopoly? What's the rules in Monopoly?
Don't go to jail.
Yeah.
Don't go to jail. Every time you pass go, you collect $200.
Yeah.
But if you go to jail, you don't collect $200.
Right.
But every place you land that belongs to somebody else costs you. If you don't acquire assets through the process of the game, eventually you'll go broke gracefully, no matter how many paydays you've accomplished. But most people in the world play the game of Monopoly with their real money, keeping ahead of bills, and not going to jail without playing to win by acquiring assets. What's an asset? It's an asset. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket. Liability is something that takes it out of your pocket. And what we're going to do is just focus on doing those things. Because if we do three things, so if you're taking notes, just write the word simple down your page from top to bottom, S.I.M.P.L.E. And that stands for shop smart, increase, multiply, and protect. And the most important concept in any wealth conversation is leverage of everything. Because that's the main thing we get caught on is zero leverage. Most people live their lives with no leverage, with no one other than them responsible for helping them get better in life. And we're on the precipice when it comes to shopping smart of being in position to get paid every time people do what they were going to do anyway. Put that in your notes anyway. And the first concept, we got an unlimited stream of income through the power of microtransactions, meaning that every time somebody shops, a small transaction happens. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Just imagine, for the sake of this conversation, because I'm going to bring this back later, 3,000 plus people paid an average of 10 cents a day. You know you're making $158 passively. You multiply that by 365, that's $57,000 per year. Now, let me ask you a question. Could you retire on $57,000 a year?
No.
If you're not retired, probably not. But with $57,000, it came regardless of what you did, because 3,000 other people did what they did, help you. Yes, it'll help. I mean, because that's the concept, is just figuring out how to build a network with enough microtransactions across all of these vendors. Because anybody on this line use Amazon for shopping? I'm from Atlanta, so I know that some people get on Delta Airlines. Anybody ever get on Delta or Southwest Airlines? Anybody ever go to Home Depot or Kroger or Lowe's or Applebee's or Staples or Papa John's? Imagine if every time the people you knew, thousands of people you never met, went to do the things that they were going to do as a part of their lifestyle, you got paid a small percentage of it. Would you tell people about these places? Now, imagine this, that we added it to the perfect business, meaning Make Wealth Real was already in partnership and in business, with their goal being helping people make wealth real. For a small startup costs $200 and a monthly membership fee of $149.97. You could become one of the leaders of the most exclusive wealth building membership in the world. $349 one time, $149 a month. And what does this membership do? Well, the first thing that it does is it lets you know that all people need experts. I don't care how many degrees I got from Duke. Do you know, in all the advanced math, linear algebra, and trigonometrical calculus classes I took, they didn't tell me anything about taxes.
Nothing.
But our membership has saved our members $44 million a year, helped eliminate $2.3 billion in debt. Most importantly, it saved people the time, $52,000 in their debt sentences, and then lowered another $100 million a year in bills across the membership. These are real people getting real results. And the process is straightforward, meaning if you take a look from an individual standpoint, our $149 membership focuses on doing three things, having three things go down and one thing go up, meaning if your taxes, your debt, and your bills go down, does your cash flow go up?
Mm-hmm.
It's no such thing as no bills, but it's having the lowest bills you possibly can. And then at the same time, 126 points increase in the credit score. If taxes go down, debts go down, bills go down, credit goes up, your overall cash flow to spend on you increases. Does that make sense? Now, this is just one person's example, but that $149 membership gave them back $4,749 of their own money. So simple intelligence test when it comes to creating wealth. If $149 could bring you back 4,000, would you invest in yourself to get your money back from the thieves that took it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And we got so many examples of people that have used this process, not only to have a team of experts work on their behalf to help them do the things that we really weren't taught to do, but to have remarkable results. You got people buying new homes, paying off homes, getting dream homes. Don and Ruthie, each of them, they did every step in this process. They increased both of their credit scores as a couple over 800. They became landowners first through a process called land banking. They reduced their taxes by $1,000 a month. They eliminated $85,000 in debt. And then they purchased 10 acres in Puerto Rico. How many of you want acreage on an island that gets U.S. credits? But now, before I go forward, because there's some members on the line with me. Anybody that wants to just share what the experts have done for you when it comes to first protecting your money and getting rid of bills. All right, I see you, Auntie Gwen. You want to jump in?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Well, I want to say, first of all, you're doing a fantastic job, Mr. Richard Harden, breaking down this concept simple, like you said, keeping it simple, shopping, increasing and multiplying our money. The experts, everyone know I worked and I was on a fixed income. The experts in 1 month gave me back $200. And that was money that I didn't expect that I could get back. So even when you're retired, don't think you can get some money. But the gooder, it gets gooder, as we say. I told it to my spouse. He was the worker. He was able to get back $1,000. That was $1,200 we brought back in our home. We didn't ball out. We paid off debt. We had kept eliminating debt. We paid off $44,000 in credit card and medical bills because he had a hip replacement. And that wasn't all. By me continue doing the strategies, our credit scores went up 146 points, and we were able to get a new car. So this concept is working. I want everyone to know. Thank you, sir.
Awesome, awesome. And Stephanie Store, I see you next.
Yes, most definitely. I'm just very grateful that this was even brought to my lap. Like, it was one of those things where I was like, I know I needed help, but it was a matter of how I was going to go ahead and do that. So I've been an entrepreneur for about 20 years now. And thing about being a business owner or going to go get the bag is you don't always do all your documentation. So what I loved about the company is it was able to do my documentation, get all that stuff right, because a business without documentation is like a body without bones. By doing that, they were able to save me $10,000 on my taxes. Yes, that's not 3, 4, but 5 figures, where I did not have to give the IRS, because now I was able to take control out of, the taxes and things like that. And that was able to now catapult to my debt. Got my credit score up 172 points, still working on it. but it was able to put me in a different bracket where now my insurance was coming down. Everything that I was using on a regular basis was coming down. So that whole no bills for whatever, it's about having that minimum amount. And this was really what was able to do it.
Awesome, awesome. And before I jump in, I know if you didn't get a chance to put your hand up, but you want to put your testimony in the chat, just quickly let people know what the value of membership has done for you. Because the best blessing in my life was I became a member and not just someone who signed up. I put the experts to work on my behalf. And those experts reduced my taxes, which increased my paycheck from my job by $636. Get paid by weekly. So that was $1,272 I was overpaying in taxes. They got my credit score, which was in the 700s. I was decent on credit, 720, 750, depending on which bureau, but they got me to an 834. Now that 834 helped me save over $1,000 on the mortgage on this house and my other rental property. And that additional cash flow from those things helped us knock out $52,000 in credit card bills in less than a year. We bought and paid for a car. They financed it for 48 months, but we were done in 4. And the blessing was all of that was just taking the advice from some experts that I hired to work on my behalf for $149. And this is the important thing for everybody to take away. It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you don't have strategies for keeping more of it and putting it back to work for you, making more won't help. It's like having gasoline and a matchstick. It just burns up the match faster. But with these experts, the additional cash flow, I just started telling people about it, and they increased my income again in 2 ways. There's 2 things I want you to consider. Is that it's impossible. This is not me. I didn't make this up. Earl Nightingale said it's impossible to get rich without enriching others. It's impossible to get rich without enriching others. So I went and shared what the membership had done for me and for my family, and they began to help me increase my income. Now, let me make sure before I touch on this topic, because it can be touchy for some people. How many of you out there want to know how to make some more money?
Yep.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm talking to the right people. I don't want to force information on anyone. But when it comes to increasing money, what would more money help you do, especially after the bills get taken care of? Well, for most people, that's going to be those things that we right now typically deny ourselves or put on a budget. But imagine if you could travel, have an extra house to go vacation to, that you had more than enough money to give, more than enough to invest, and then most importantly, to continue educating, put this in your notes, yourself and your children. Continue educating yourself and your children. Well, that's what our revenue sharing and revenue plan is about, meaning this is the first business I ever encountered where they have daily and weekly minimum bonuses to help people get started. Say this concept is making sense to you right now. You decide you want to get started. You get paid $50 every time somebody decides they want to get started with you. Does that make sense? Now, we have a strategy, a system in place where success loves speed. So if you make the investment of $349, my goal is to get you paid and promoted as quickly as possible, usually 24 to 48 hours. Meaning, for the sake of this conversation, let me use the first 3 people that I see on the screen. So I've got, there you go, Carlise.
Hello.
Auntie Gwen, you just met. And next up, you got Tanisha, not Tanetica. Her name is Tanisha. Say for the sake of the conversation that you invited the 3 of us to this conversation. We got started in business with you, and our goal was to do 2 things. We were going to make wealth real together with leverage. So 3 of us got started. 3 people get started in business with me. 3 people get started with Tanisha. 3 people get started with Carlise. Ladies, could you hold up 3 fingers? There's my 3 fingers. All right, 3. All right. So if you count that up, that's 3, 6, 9, 12. That's 12 people that are part of your leverage equation that you did not know. They just got introduced to the conversation. They showed up and heard it. But in this particular compensation plan, 12 people pays $20 a day. That's $600 a month. Would it help you?
Yes.
That's all I had to know is how many times could I multiply by 12 to get to the place where my income exceeded my outgo? And in our world, doing it in your first 30 days, introducing just a team of 3 pays 150. That second team of 12 pays 450. And you just teach those people how to do the same thing. That's a total of $1,500 on your investment of $349 just for being excited about telling people about how to make wealth real. Could you do it? Now, we got a full compensation plan breakdown. I'll do that separately in training, but a high level with a team of 12, you're eligible for an additional $600 per month every week in weekly bonuses every time half of the people in your team of 12 find somebody that wants to make wealth real. Does that make sense? And it happens in real life where, I mean, anywhere from $150,000 to $450,000 a month, somewhere in there, could you find your way to your version of financial freedom? Now,
Yes.
here's the blessing in this particular system and simple concept is it is, okay, let me end these spotlights so that y'all don't get credit for using the big words. Binomial compensation. I've been in business for 25 years, home business in particular. And it's the first time that I've had a floor where there's no matter what doesn't happen in your business, you're guaranteed to make some money. Everybody ever been in business where they went to work, worked hard all day, and at the end, when they matched up the books, nothing came in? In this business, if you build it, there will always be a floor, but now we opened it up so there is no roof, meaning all of the bonuses, all of the daily guarantee. Imagine if you had a base guarantee pay of, let's call it $1,000 a day. How much is that? $1,000 a day is about $30,000 a month. Could most of us get by on $30,000 a month?
Yes, sir.
But now here's the great thing with what's been added is that now when you're at the executive level, you get to these regional positions where you're at $6,000 to $30,000 a month. What could you do with an extra $30,000 coming in this month? Could you take that vacation you're trying to get to? Could you pay off your student loans or send your kids to private school? What about building that dream home and just taking a vacation where you don't have a return ticket? I'm gonna go back when I get tired of being over here.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
And I mean, there's still more levels to this. $45,000 to $450,000. I mean, what would it be like to fly a private jet? Or to rent a yacht? Or to create generational wealth? All of that happens in the floor compensation plan. But now with our Give Bucks partnership, we added a new income stream to one of the most lucrative compensations plan I'd ever seen. I mean, imagine if every time the Amazon man showed up to your door, you were getting paid for that.
I am.
Let it go deeper for you. What if every time they drove down your street, you were getting paid because you told somebody that told somebody? And now when people are at Amazon, Lowe's, Airbnb, CVS, Staples, these are places we're going to shop anyway. And this is the thing. People are always like, Rick, I know you're excited. You're a positive person, but there's so many gotchas in this whole, I don't do those network marketing MLM things. But do you shop at Kroger? Were you going to fly on Delta anyway? Look, man, I ain't got no pills, potions, lotions. I ain't got to sell you trips to the ocean. I'm going to let you do what you were going to do. But because the river's flowing through this area, everybody that decides to put their feet in can get a little bit wet. Make sense? Because that's the power of being in the transaction economy. And now we're in a position where only 2 weeks from now, we'll be able to add retailers to the list where they get advertised side by side with Amazon and Kroger and Nordstrom. And the way it works is a concept called a super app. Now, I've been in technology for 25 years. To simplify the concept, what I'll tell you is a super app is fairly common outside the United States. When we were in Dubai, they had an app called Kareem, where in one app, You could send money to somebody in Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Afghanistan, or any of the other Middle Eastern countries. You could buy liquor. You could order a car. You could travel between Emirates. But nobody else is pulling out their credit cards but Americans. With the super app, everything's in one place. And the more you use it, you look at how people use WeChat in China or Grab in India. It's a game changer, and we get to be the innovators of the first super app in the US. Now, here's the difference between all these other apps that are in the other countries with Grab and Alipay. You get to pay, you get to shop, you get to spend, you get to share money, but you don't get paid, and it doesn't give back to a charity of your dreams. Gives Buck's vision is that we make money and we give back at the same time, so that now the size of our opportunity grows because of our app infrastructure. Meaning, what if all the things that we do on Amazon, Skype, or WeChat, Zelle, and GoFundMe could be handled in one place from one set of transactions? Would you rather have 10 places to do a thing or one? And if that one place paid you and gave money to your favorite charity, would you do it more and recommend it to more people?
Yeah.
That's the winning combination, because here's what happens. GiveBucks supports all different types of charities, and it doesn't mean they have to do a new fish fry or cake bake. It's just letting their constituents know that this is available. They get paid, you get to give without the pressure, and we do it all in one app. And those two things, because I want you to know, now you've got two streams of money, actually three, flowing back into your life. Does that make it easier to have leverage in your life? Meaning, but at the beginning of this conversation, if you came to this particular Zoom with your job as on your only source of income, well, now you've got a team of experts funneling money back from your job into your household. Not only that, by telling people about what those experts do for you, now you're getting paid every day, anywhere from $5 a day to $15,000 per day, $450,000 a month minimum, to let people know that when they shop, it can pay them. And just by telling them, it pays you and your favorite charity. And you can't beat that with a bat. And here's the blessing. The more that we give it away, the more that what we have to give grows, because now with everything in this all-encompassing platform, you're in position for next level strategies where you have excess money. Everybody say more than enough, so that you can put your money to work, so that you can start to invest in precious metals like silver and gold and palladium, but also have that team of experts like our friend Clovell here. And then the best thing is you get to participate in what wealthy families have learned and passed around wealthy dinner tables for years, whether you're talking about the Rockefellers, the Gates, the Oprah Winfreys, or even LeBron James. Special shout out to fathers that can put their kids on. Come on. I'm not a Lakers fan like that, but I like them this year. Here you go. But now you have a trust in place to protect all of the money that you've made from death, disability, divorce, and all the ways that our wealth gets divided. Nelson Rockefeller said it first and best: you can own nothing but control everything and have money generated into your family trust in perpetuity for while you're here, but more important, when you go. And there's so many people, I won't even go into detail about all of them, but make sure you stay tuned. We got a special event coming up at 9 p.m. where folks like Gerald Parker went from a $65,000 a year job to owning 2 homes, and now he's wide-eyed, electrified. He says, if you can't get excited about helping people make wealth, just get ready to stay broke for the rest of your life. Or Trevor and Shirley bought their dream home. Now they're in the $1 million residual ring earners club. Folks like Cashflow Christie, where she said the best thing about her residuals being able to pay her mother's bills. Is so many people living the dream. But you know what the most important success story is in our world? Is the one that you become. Because here's the reality of our system. We have a training system that's designed to provide 100% of the information from people that have known a thing and can do a thing. Does that make sense? But here's the challenge. Most of us were educated by the system of whisper down the lane. Wait, let me look at y'all. I got to figure out what age group we're in. In Georgia, in the South, we had a game called Whisper Down the Lane, where you'd whisper a word into the first person's ear and they'd pass it down. So you whisper, blah. By the time it got passed down the lane to the last person, it was shoes. Now, what did y'all call that game where you're from?
Telephone.
Y'all had telephone? Okay, you must be from up top. Yeah. New England, Northeast, yes. What else?
Or the grapevine.
Grapevine. Heard it through the grapevine. Yep.
Mhm.
But if you think about, that's the way that most information travels to people, especially when it comes to secrets of money and wealth. Most people don't even have the opportunity to plug in the experts that have 100% of the information. But by the time that 100% gets transferred through their friend who only gets 50% right, through their other friend that gets 25% right, down to where there's 12, and then finally gets left with the 6%. And it's not the 6% information that they got right. It's the 94% garbage and BS, I almost cursed, belief systems that are pumped into our educational incarceration system that leaves people in a place where they don't know how simple it is to create wealth. I want you to plug into the training system and make a choice for you today. Decide if you're number 2, you want some of the money, or you're number 1, you want all of the money. What's the difference, Richard? Well, keep it straightforward and simple. Number 2, you get to be a member only. You get all the benefits that Gwen, Stephanie, and I shared with you about what the experts did to put our money back in our pockets, but you don't get any daily compensation. Or if you have the vision big enough to expand on the idea that we can keep this simple and have our money make money, $200 one time, $149 a month gets you access to the same experts, but also opens up 2 streams of cash flow into your life. One that makes it that you have what they call this new rapper? NBBA. Never broke again. Young boy. Never broke again. You know for sure that anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 a day is coming into your house. And there's no limit on how much you can make. As a matter of fact, the only limit is how many people you're willing to help. 349 gets it started. Just let the person that introduced you know you're number 1, you want some, number 2, you want some of the money, number 1, you want all the money. But whatever you do, decide today that for you and your household, you're going to make wealth real. You're going to keep it simple. What does that mean? I'm going to shop smart. I'm only going to spend money with people that spend money with me. I'm going to increase my money. I'm going to increase the money that I take home from the work I'm already doing. And by sharing, I'm going to make more money. I will multiply that money by putting that money to work in ways that most people weren't taught. And I will protect every asset that I ever invest in, knowing that it's my right and responsibility to leverage everything. S.I.M.P.L.E. That's how we keep it simple. Let's make wealth real. Let's make it simple. Let's make it fun. That's all I got. Good night, everybody. All right.